This is a woman who had done some really serious work with a therapist about the fact that she was sexually abused by a parent in her growing up. She'd done a lot of work with a therapist, she'd moved through a lot of ground, and she was having a lot of difficulty around the idea that the therapist would abandon her. It was triggering some issues about abandonment in her own life. And
abandon her means at some point she's going to be working with this therapist, and the therapist
won't be
available, is going to leave town, is going,
somewhat
something's going to
irrational
happen.
Fears about, I hear we're getting somewhere, and I bet you're going to leave me because everybody always does, and that kind of thing. So the therapist, who was a wonderful therapist, I got to know her on the back end, not the front end, kept saying encouraging things. I'm not going anywhere. I will not leave. I'm right here. I'm by your side. And so finally the therapist jokingly one day in his session said, man, I wish we had a little theme song for you where you could just play this over and over in your head that I'm not going anyplace. So this patient or client looked me up, found me on the web, said, oh, this can actually be done. So she originally called and said, I just want a song. I want to show my therapist that I'm serious about this, and I want to get this little mantra into a song somehow. So that's what we set out to do. However, once we got to talking, I was only the second person on the planet she'd ever told about this sexual abuse. So it was a very intense phone call, as you can imagine. And as we began talking, and I was looking deeper at this abandonment issue, and she was telling me a little bit about these experiences of sexual abuse, I had this kind of aha moment. Because I said, I'm hearing you talk about those moments of abuse in a way that sounds like you kind of floated above it a little bit, or separated yourself from yourself in order to get through that moment, which is not uncommon, as you probably know. And she said, yeah, that's exactly what I did. And I said, I wonder if that choice wasn't maybe something that kind of saved your life at that time, saved your sanity at that time, but maybe there's a way that you're still dealing with painful issues by separating. Maybe there's a way that you are abandoning yourself that makes it really scary when you think about somebody else abandoning you. So I said, I want to write this song for you, and I want to get that mantra in there of what your therapist is saying to you, but I'd like to go a step further, make the first half of the song a thank you to her for saying all these things to you, and make the second half letting you hear what you sound like when you are able to say these things to yourself. I will not leave. I will not walk away. So again, as you can see,
I thought you said this was going to get easier.
Well, it gets easier. This is a much more upbeat song, I promise, and it has a much more clear-cut ending in that this song for this woman, who I'll call Donna, she's played it over and over and over and over. She shared it with her therapist. They had a really profound experience together. The name of the song is Little Secret, which is a double entendre because there's this secret she's carried around all her life, and there's this way that her therapist talks to her that's like, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. You are okay, so we kind of played with the two levels, but I'd like to kind of do the same thing if I can. This is one that really changed a lot in the studio because we put all these layers, and it gets very uplifting. So,
and you love that, huh?
Oh,
and you talk
I
about
love the studio.
I mean, when the way you talk about it, well, in the studio there was a harp, and this is just me and my guitar, but
there's something that happens in the studio, and I think part of the magic is I'm weirdly gifted at knowing who to pick to drag in there to create the songs, or else weirdly lucky. There's a stable of folks I work with regularly, and then I occasionally hear somebody, and I think that's what's needed for that. And so that's just fun for me. It's just like, there's only so much I can do here on this little thing. I took my first guitar lesson when I was 30, and I took 1 year of lessons, and it shows that it's only 1 year. But anyway, so I'd like to, is it okay to share some of this song? So here's a little bit on guitar of the way she heard it the first time of the song Little Secret. You let me in on a little secret. You kept telling it till I started to wonder if maybe someday I'd believe it. You said I deserve to open up, to love this life and feel loved. And I believe it could be true, because of all the things I'm learning when I'm learning with you, who I have been for myself in moments when I have been hurt, and who I'm learning to be for me. So that's the chorus leading in. And then I'll let you hear I'm sorry, that's the verse leading in, and then I'll let you hear this bridge to the chorus, and then the chorus, which sort of ramps up to become this mantra that she says to herself over and over again. So here's that. Here it comes popping out. Try again. It's just like real life, isn't it? We're so close. And then I am strong enough to share the way I feel. I am brave enough now to learn to let myself heal. And I am trusting enough to get the sense of the second song kind of goes on to say, so now I'll let you in on a little secret. It's one you kept whispering, and now I see what it means to dare to believe it. I do deserve to open up, to be here for myself and to feel that love. And so then it goes into the chorus, saying it this time as she would say it to herself. Now I've learned to say to myself, I will not walk, I will not leave.
Oof.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing that each of these two, and I'm guessing many other examples of songs that you've done, start off with the person expecting to give a gift to someone else. And once again, here is this woman who expected to give a gift to her therapist, who ends up really getting what might be the greatest therapeutic value of all, which is for her to know that she now can be the good parent and the good protector that she's never had before. And that she won't desert herself. In times of crisis, in times of intimacy, and to all these other places, that she's there for herself.
And that's that really critical point in therapy, when we see a therapist modeling a certain behavior for us, and then suddenly it occurs to us, oh, I can do that. I can bring what I've seen out there inside myself. And I do think there's something about music, and there's something about a CD that you can pop in your car when you're driving around that's very anchoring. That's sort of like, you know, in therapy, I have several friends who practice therapy full time, and they say, you know, there are these moments in therapy where everything opens up, where they suddenly see something, and I wish I had a way to anchor that moment, because before you know it, the phone rings and somebody's hitting another button and triggering something in you, and you're sort of off of that place that you got to. So I think this song is a nice example of helping somebody who I could feel. She was so close to seeing this. So it was like it helped push her up to that spot, and then it gave her this physical thing that she could walk the planet with and stick into a CD player if she started to slide off that place.
Right. So I'm going to take this last. We literally have under a minute at this point. So based on what you've said, I really want to encourage our audience to anchor their moments. And one of the ways that they can do it is by going to your website, honestly, and listening to these songs. And you have huge numbers of songs on your website.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
And they each describe, so whether it was, you know, the estranged mom and daughter, or the grandmother, or, you know, the whole host of life circumstances that come up. You also have CDs people can buy, and they can learn about
on something called cdbaby.com. And the best way, because it's free to get involved, is I have something called Song of the Month. And anybody that wants to join an email list gets a song that they can download if they want to, and the story behind it and the lyrics. And so this one already was a Song of the Month, little secret. The one I just shared is so hot off the press, it has not yet been a Song of the Month. But yeah, that's under there.